Okay, guys, before I go play me some freaking PSO2, I gotta tell you that right now. You guys really need to play yourself some freaking Fantasy Star Online 2. It's fucking great. You know, you guys are all waiting for, we're all waiting for the Sonic news. I'm like, dude, who cares about Sonic right now? We gon' like, Sonic fan games are happening. Still, actually, Sonic Online is happening still, and it's freaking good. Read the other freaking issues. It's so good. I know it takes a long time for the RT Sonic Online issues to come out, and I know a lot of people have issues with that. But it's like, guys, they're not a full team. They can't push stuff out like Archie can. So I'm saying, if you're on the fence, give it a chance. All I'm saying. Anywho, one really asked me about Phase 1 and everything that happened in it. So, okay. At first, Bugsy, not the first Bugsy, well, we kind of know that. But the meta version of myself is the first technical Bugsy Prime, but I'm gonna get into that later. Because when we get to that, that's going to be the most interesting shit ever, I swear. I'm not even hyping it up just to kind of make you guys go, ooh. I'm just saying. So, anyways, so what was going on? So basically, Prime, Ansukamaru, and Harima they basically got reincarnated into a new world where they're basically living a kind of domesticated life for now. You know, for a while they were all happy until various things happened. These things include Prime and Ansukamaru growing wings and remembering who they were before, and Harima basically being, well, the Harima, from School Rumble. After that, Ansukamaru, after that, after the stuff before this, we're going straight into phase one stuff. Prime ran into a evil version of himself that is the other side of himself. During his first life where he lost his wife and fought the ultimate. The ultimate is Bugsy Prime's half brother, but we don't really. It's not really a focal point right now. It's like a focal point way later. But he fights Negative for a while. I would say his shortened name, but it kind of sounds like something else, and I don't want YouTube to be like, "No, you're saying something else." So, okay, what had happened? So, basically, Negative would constantly torment our hero, and he'd slowly get his other memories back. His old life, his past life actually converges with his current one, making the thing we know today. That's why the Higher Haven actually exists in this universe. Well, in the universe he's in, that kind of mirrors our actual universe. So, and his stuff from his own life comes back, his memories come back, and then he starts to remember what Negative really was. Negative was always kind of his villain who longed to be be one being with him, but he didn't know this at the time. He just knew that he hated Bugsy Prime with everything that he had, and because of this, he always kept showing up. It came to a point where Prime just got tired of fighting him. And every time you think of a plan, like Prime would be the Prime would Prime also when he got his memories back, he got most of his intelligence back, and basically he was able to outplan Prime. He was able to outplan Negative in every given turn until one day he came to Negative. Negative was like, "What do you want? What do you want? You know what I want." And it took Negative for a minute to really figure out what Prime actually wanted. But he looked up at him for a minute. It's like, you mean it? And Prime goes, yes, I mean it. That's all I've ever really wanted. Because we are one person, one mind, one thought. The same, we're two sides of the same coin. I said that because it's the truth. How do you want to combine anyway? Because we can't be one complete person unless we do, right? And Negative goes, yeah, but you know why I was created. Yes, you were my negative emotions I couldn't deal with until my wife died. I remember. I remember it so clear. The anger, the hatred, the rage I felt spilling out of me. But I want you back. So, if you don't mind, do you even remember how we do this? Well, basically, we just gotta touch hands. We've done that before when we punched each other. Yes, but the thing was, we weren't unified. Let's think of one thought, and everything will become cool, and will fuse into one thing. And for some reason, actually, it was a part of an earlier video where basically it's like shadow and light, and basically it really audio wise showcases Prime and Negative going back and becoming one person again. So and forget the door because like again, it wouldn't be a Bugsy video without that. Anyways, so they fused into one person. Now now let me get into a few other things that I didn't really explain in phase one. The like real reason, and I guess someone will remember Markov. So let me just give you the rough notes of like the storyline between that. Prime and Prime and Harima have had Prime and Harima have always had this kind of turbulent thing with them being brothers. Prime always kind of resenting him for leaving everything including him and Ansakamari for Tenma. And Prime literally, they said a lot of messed up things to each other. And like I never really talk about the specifics because the specifics don't really matter. But when I did write, it was pretty fucking hard because like he was like Prime just dug into him like just it was horrible really. It was like we're chaos lords, he's a human. You understand if like you guys have a kid, that kid is going to be ostracized. If you even like, have you even talked to this girl? First of all, he's like, no, I tried to get close and look at her, and she thought I was trying to try something. So I'm going with the disguise. He's like, that's what you're going to do? Alright, man, that's the most stupidest thing ever. And they both pretty much went back and forth for a good hour until Harima just said, I'm leaving. And Prime was like, fine, we don't need you anyway. We never needed you. You were just a sad sack you're just a sad sack we carried along. I don't care. I don't care. He didn't like Prime actually broke down afterwards, but Harima wasn't privy to see that though. Now the events of School Rumble happen. Like I'm talking all the events from the anime, mostly not from the manga. I haven't really read the manga, so I never really incorporated those in. But some stuff from Skull Rumble X is canon also. I just thought to mention that. Anyways, Prime, Harima actually comes back a few 5 years later, and he comes after bringing Tenma to the airport. Well, after the years he spent away from everybody, on a rainy day, Harima just comes to the doorstep and says, "You were right. You were right, bro. You were right." And again, I've told this part of the story a whole bunch of times, but Prime goes, "I wasn't right. We didn't need to. I was being an idiot. I was being stubborn." And, huh? Are you crying? She never wanted me to begin with. She wanted Karasuma. I was I was fooling myself to think that my plans and everything would work. And you were right. I'm not. I'm not right, Har. I wasn't right because what I said to you was fucking hurtful. God, if we didn't just, if I would have just helped you more than I did, things would have been different. I blame myself because you, bro, me and Ansama have been doing shit for a while by ourselves, but we're not the big three without you, bro. I'm, I'm sorry, really, really, really unequivocally sorry. If that Timber chick didn't want you, man, she ain't worth. Let her be Blandy McBlanderson. How do you know Peraza was Blandy McBlanderson? We've been keeping tabs on you. Also, we didn't know we had a cousin that was. Well, actually, she's kind of our cousin twice removed. Ah, that's why we didn't know about her. Hmm. Funny that. Anywho, bro, we're probably gonna haze you for a bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've actually made a thing called Make Fun of Harm Day. I just want you to know that the hazing you're gonna see in the new show I got, I don't mean it. I don't mean to be I don't mean to be a dick to you. This is only for fun and only to just kind of mess with you in the long, mess with you a bit, like the old days. And Markov series where they made fun of Harima began. after that, it's a little unclear. Other He meets a bunch of Bugsies off screen. Again, these were little adventures that I meant to write out, but I never really did because during the time that these were made, I had school. I never really had a chance to get back, but pretty much he had a lot of adventures. He even got the demon sword, which was a thing passed down by his grandfather. He didn't get the chaos sword until way later. He'd fight Raph, an evil version of himself, not like an alternate, like the other, like a negative version of himself, like an actual evil version from a universe where he just went insane after his wife died. Like he went, you know. Prime's always said he's insane, right? But what if he let that insanity control him? What if he let that insanity own him and to an extent control him? That's where Raph comes in. Now Raph and Prime would fight for a long ass time. He's still alive. Last time Prime actually defeated him, he's off. He's off somewhere in this alternate prison, this multiverse prison, and he could break out at any time. So, so basically, so he can break out at any time. The events of everything else, the Magov movie never happened, so it's not canon. Like everything that was the Magov movie got fed into the Gygas saga in Team H. Well, all of it that was kind of finished. There's a lot of adventures and filler and little fights. Prime trains to unlock various powers of his chaos Lord abilities. But while he's away, he lets Meta, the mechanized electronic technical assistant, take over. Yeah, Meta was a thing. Meta was a thing even back when my channel was when my channel was being made. Yeah, I never got to really say it, but yeah, Prime accrued a lot of power over the years because when he had hopped through dimensions, the time of him hopping through dimensions, you know, he would take like 20. He would have like 20. He'd have like 20 to 30 years tops. So time was a lot faster when he'd hop through dimensions. Remember, Chaos Lords do not. Sorry about the background noise, by the way. My bro is playing his game with his friends and being a goof, being a clown. So then there's that. Anyways, so Prime would age considerably. And through his travels, he's learned a lot about power, about his ki, about magic, all that. Most of the other timelines that he was a part of converge. Really doesn't do anything, but now he remembers like different timelines where he did different things. That's how he remembers DJ Professor K and a whole bunch of other things that happened. And basically, out of that, he becomes the Bugsy we all know. Now, we'll talk about H some other time, but like phase one really just centered around like me trying to establish all this shit, all this lore, all this history. And in a way, I kind of succeeded. Now, now we're on phase two. Phase two is lasting a little bit longer because literally I have so much to do with phase two. It's taking me a little bit longer than expected. So then there's that. But you know, also not limited to the end of phase. The end of phase one was dealing with the fact that Prime was literally fighting the Ultimate, who came back. But after many times of them fighting, because even still, the Ultimate followed them through every dimension he went through, and he was trying to hijack the channel. Prime literally can't say, "Why do we do it, man? Why do we fight? I know the truth about you. I know the truth about you now." And after heart to heart, they're on good terms. They're on good terms now. But there's another oncoming threat coming. There's another looming threat happening. I'm not talking about Lord English. But that's for phase two. Now, I know, like most of these were just concepts because I never really got a chance to finish any of these. So I know it kind of sucks, and that's why I'm gonna be like, at some point, I'm gonna write some of these stories where it takes place before, like during phase one. What was Prime doing? What was all the missions he went to? All this other stuff. You know what was he training? Who was he training under? It was Sega Cassandra, by the way. Like let me tell you this. Like Prime only has like two masters he's trained under. Only two. Um and one is Ultra Instinct Shaggy, which happens way later, but he's been trained by Sega Cassandra. And because of that, and Sega Cassandra showing him the Sega Saturn style, he developed his own. Fighting style called the Chaotic Iron Fist, which you're gonna see more of in phase two. And the common question I get is Prime really that overpowered? He kind of is. When you've literally learned everything you need to learn and you've unlocked everything, and you become a little bit overpowered. But the thing I temper with that is like Prime, even though he's not human, he's very much human. He does a lot of shit. He does a lot of human shit. Like he never wanted to be king, but that was the thing that kind of happened because his dad wanted him to be. And now him being king, he has to live up with the legacy of his dad, who is now gone. And he has to at least try to be a good example for the people he's protecting. You know, and a whole bunch of other stuff. See, think about think about characters. Think about characters like think about characters um like Prime. You actually have to give them a mental block almost. You have to give them a mental block because that's the only way it would work, basically. Now I'm not really talking about the Homestuck stuff because that really does happen in phase two. But he does get kind of premonitions of various things. But I think that's about it. But yeah, that's why whenever Prime actually, that's why Prime actually gets emotional about Sega Central, because he actually crossed a different timeline where Sega Central actually was in present day. The Saturn never went down. Was actually still making games, and Sega Central died in the exact same way. Prime never really knew that Sega Central had a son, and but he always assumed that it was with Sakura, but he never knew he had a kid. But every time he looks at that, every time he looks at the one little commercial where Sega Central dies, he thinks about that moment, because at that moment he was actually there for that. He's like, Sensei, let me do something, let me help. And Sega Central, he didn't really say this in English, but I'm gonna say it anyway just to save time. He said, he was like, Bugsy, my my honored and most valuable pupil. I know you struggle with feeling powerlessness after everything that happened, but you still have many adventures and many trials to face. You cannot, you cannot, you cannot die here. And even if you're a Chaos Lord and you can kind of survive this, I don't want to take that chance. You go back to your, dimension. Do what you gotta do. I will do what I have to do. Sigata, Sigatan, Sigatan, shoot! And the missile gets fired. Sigata Centro for basically pushes the missile off the trajectory, blowing up into space. While basically Prime, and unbeknownst to Prime, his son, both going, him going dad and Prime going, Sigata Centro, no, 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 no. And basically there, that is. Now the Shaggy thing I'm not really going to talk about, because that's still kind of ongoing. But yeah, that's Prime's history in a nutshell. Ansukamaru does things on the side, and he falls in love with Coco from freaking Rosary plus Vampire, because in their universe, like, everything's kind of connected. So their dad kind of wanted to marry the two of them off at one point. And Kogua was not the best wife for Ansukamaru going forward. She had kind of mocked the idea of Ansukamaru ever being a full-on, psychiatrist, because she's like, why would you help mortals? You're so much better than them. Don't let your brother's soft-hearted ways change you. And that was like his last straw. They basically divorced after like maybe like 3 years. Like, I'm trying to remember it, because some of this stuff is on my old computer, like on my old computer, and we got rid of that a long time ago. Remember, kids, always back up your files. Like, remember, everybody, always back up your files. Like, I'm just saying that right now. But yeah, and then Ansakamaru actually meets Stocking after all that, and after a few months, they get married. Stocking from Penny and Stocking because, like, again, Ansakamaru, Ansakamaru and Bugsy Prime had a lot of adventures of their own, going to different dimensions and actually becoming ghosts, like demon busters in their own right. And actually, there's a lot of like demon buster kind of anime they kind of come across. Also, why Prime really doesn't like Ghost Sweeper. Like we're gonna get to that too. I'm gonna write that. But basically, yeah. So they knew, like, Prime always kind of hated the fact that he basically told Ansakamaru to come with him when he basically had everything he could ever possibly need. And, that still kind of lingers in Bugsy's mind that he always kind of holds Ansakamaru back because of because they're brothers, and of course Ansakamaru is gonna follow him because they're brothers. That's kind of how it goes. But Ansakamaru has said on multiple occasions, like, man, I was gonna, even though it hurt, I know you need me more than me getting having my own life and stuff. I mean, you left Penny, even though that was kind of a sure thing to do. All bunch of stuff. Um, what else? There's something I'm forgetting. And after a few things that happened, like the fight between Thardarkus and various other things that lead into Phase 2, here we are in Phase 2. What's going to happen next? A lot of stuff. Why am I not being specific? Because I want you to watch. Or in this case, listen. I shall see you guys later. Peace, everybody. We'll hit the subscribe, hit like, share, and subscribe, share, hit the bell, comment. Do all that jazz. And tell your friends about this because I'm trying to get more people to like actually probably get invested in my channel, and it'd be nice if some people would just kind of help me out with that and sharing my videos and actually liking them also, and comment, and people commenting on my videos helps an awful lot. But I shall see you all later. Peace, everybody. There may have been things I forgot because, like, again, I'm recalling a lot of the most important things. There are a lot of little things, but other than that, yeah, that's about it. That's a proper sum up of Phase 1. See you guys later. There's still a lot of stuff in Phase 2. Peace.